Hey, I am Jeremy Tank, and if you are watching this, I am your brand guy. Hi, how you doing? Um, so today I really want to talk about the audience character game, which really is just creating an avatar. And an avatar is a representation, an idea of who your audience is or who your customer is, the person that you're providing the service for, and this really comes in two different flavors here at the start. There's have data and don't have data, or start from something or start from nothing, and both are fine. If you have data right now, what that starts to look like might be you have general demographics from your website, how long people stay on your website, how many people are in your group, how many people follow you. But you may get more information from Facebook than that. I'm not a marketing guy. I'm a branding guy. So if you have that information, there's a good bet that you have that information and you know where to get it. All the different platforms keep it in slightly different places, and if if you have an individual case, and you need to know where that stuff is, I can help you find it. Starting from nothing is actually my favorite part of the game because it means that you get to be a little bit creative in this. And what that starts to look like, things always start to look like something to me. They start to look like something until they become rock solid. And when you are talking about your audience, I don't like to refer to people as customers or buyers, patients, until they've completed buying your services, right? Until then, they are your audience. Because just like you are watching this video, somebody's going to be ingesting your content, learning from you, changing their life, because that's how marketing, that's how branding, that's how advertising, that's how all this stuff works these days. You create a message and you share that message outward with a particular person or a particular group that you can help in some way, and eventually maybe they'll work with you. Maybe when they want to take the next step, they'll work with you. So it's really important that you kind of get in front of them and communicate with them. And the way I think about this is starting from zero is thinking about if you have a niche, if you don't have a niche, right? There's lots of different ways to kind of come up with your niche, and everybody says the riches are in the niches, because when you are talking to that specific audience, every little bit about you, every little personality quirk, every little thing that makes you uniquely you is more identifiable to that smaller audience. The likeliness they know somebody exactly like you with your quirks, your personality, your reputation, your service, your everything is much lower because it's a smaller group. And you can say that anytime you take a large group and you whittle portions out of it, you will stand out more to the smaller group than to the larger group. So niching down helps you appear more easily in front of them, whoever them is. So one of the best ways that I've talked about niching with people before is think about the people in your life. Think about things that you do. Think about people you've enjoyed talking to or working with in the past, or skills that you admire, or a trade that you know something about, something from your past that you're transitioning away from, or something that you're just super passionate about and you've read all about it. If you know something about a field and you provide a service that could be valuable to them, that's an opportunity for a niche. And when you start thinking about this stuff, honestly, if you're just starting your business, whatever that business is, you can speak to one particular niche that you've always worked with, that you know a lot about, that you are very comfortable with. And in my case, this is you guys. Hi. You get to see me, you get to know me. I'm comfortable with you guys. I can speak pretty freely about this stuff. And as you communicate with them, it's a much more open dialogue. It kind of lost my track of my point there. you guys who know me, have known me for years, know I get a little stuttering thing, I get a little self-conscious, and then I lose my place. So I'm actually appearing in more videos this week. I've committed to this to help kind of move past this, to get my brain going and train it in a better form. This is the stuff I've learned about recently, training the brain in a better form to be more precise and accurate on the tongue, as to say the things that I want to say when I want to say them. So, niches. Finding people that you have familiarity with is a great place to start. Recently, I was working with a woman trying to identify her niche, trying to identify, as she was reaching out to start her practice, who she should be working with. And we chose an audience that is not necessarily the audience she wants to be working with. And in this case, we took a little split. We said, okay, we think that we can create an impact with this audience that you know something about, you know their pains, you know what helps them move forward, you can identify that, you can apply all your new skills to this audience even though you're not really working with them anymore. You can speak to them in a way that is rational, that is easy to help them see how when they rely on you and come to you with these new skills, you can help them create a larger transformation in their life. And at the same time, I said, okay, let's try to focus about 70 to 80% of your communication to this audience, and let's take about 20% of your communication and offer it up to this other audience that you want to reach. And I call it the ideal audience, or the hopeful audience, or the growth audience, right? It's somebody that you want to speak with, you want to work with, and you really want to have a pull towards, but you're going to have to build that relationship because you don't have that built in. It's really a great idea to just start with somebody, some audience, something that you know something about, that you can solve their pains. In my case, I know a lot about branding. I know a lot about communicating these things and how the brain interprets a lot of this information to build up emotional resonance. So I'm trying to share that with you guys. Because that's what I know, that's my strength, and I figure that the more I share it with you guys, the more information I give you, the better off you're going to be for your business, and really communicating with other people and trying to be more empathetic and see life from their perspective, because when you can see life from their perspective, that's really what this audience, this avatar kind of little game here is all about. When you can see the world from their perspective, then you can see where they need help, where the pain points are, where their life can be smoothed over, where things can go easier. You know, maybe if you guys need a little bit more information about branding, about the psychology behind this stuff, if you want to know more about the law of attraction and manifesting this stuff through the frequency that is inherent in branding and communication and relationships, that's me. That's what I do. And ultimately that ends up in logos and brand identity and companies and marketing and campaigns and a whole bunch of other stuff. But having this foundation of understanding and communication is really important for all of it to move forward. Because if you can understand, one of the games we've already played is the Who Am I game. If you can understand who you are and why you're doing things, at least part of that story for yourself, and then you can communicate outwards by choosing a niche, a field, a type of character that you want to speak with and help, then you just create a bridge. And that bridge is full of communication and empathy and help and service. And these are the kind of things that brands are built on. Business is built on sales. Business is built on marketing. Business is built on process, right? Business is built on systems. Business is built on brilliance. But branding is built on communication and built on feelings. So understanding, communicating, looking at these brand points, this is all part of behavioral design, behavioral experiences, and behavioral branding, right? So once you kind of have a general group of somebody that you'd like to work with, I'll shift back, you guys can see the Dia de Muertos decorations in the background. Once you kind of decide on this audience, then it's time to take the next step, because you need to figure out what their pain points are, what their life is like, so that you can start designing a response, designing a thought process around them, a communication process around them, and the way that they perceive information, they intake information, and the way that they make decisions in their own life. And part of the way we do this is take a nice deep breath and get the imagination going. Take another nice deep breath. Because here's the best part. You oxygenate, you get some blood flowing, and then you can play. And then it's imagination, because you know more about your audience even if you have no data than you think you know. The power of our society and television and social media and simply having relationships and communication with one another means that we have been influenced by all of that to be able to create these characters, these personas, these actions in our head. You know, life starts to take on comedy, drama. It starts to feel like television because television echoes reality. Well, we're going to echo television right back in reality. We're going to sit here and create a character. And the way that we start is we say, so we're going to think of, okay, I want you to think of the perfect person that you want to serve with your whatever, your product, your service, whatever it is you're selling. There's some people on here who own a brewery. I know people on here that do cider. So what I would want you to do is kind of just think about who would your perfect customer be, and without thinking about it too hard, just kind of think, would that be a man or a woman? What's the likeliness? And just as you see it in your head, whichever way you feel. This is a very wishy-washy way of doing this, and I know that because it's very creative and it's very imaginative. And then after you think, is it a man or a woman, think, okay, about how old is that person? Are they closer to 55 or are they closer to 25? And depending on where they land, okay, well, what's their education like? And that'll kind of tell you about how much money that they might be making, and that'll tell you about their class. Maybe what's next is where are they in the country? That would be very important, because where are they now? Where did they used to be? Where did they grow up? We can make all of these things up and create a really dimensional character, and that allows us to start just picturing a single person to be speaking to, and that single person. Well, it's easier to sit here and talk to a single person than it is a group of people. And solving one person's problem is easy. Solving 1,000 people's problems all at once is more difficult. So when we're playing this game, when we're creating a character, we're trying to just create our own archetype. I just got done filming a video about archetypes. So in this point, we're creating our own archetype of our type of customer, the type of person that we want to work with. So we're starting with an internal resonance, an internal frequency that says, this is what I want to create. This is what I want to recognize. This is what I want to work with. This is the person I want to serve. And what this does through a part of the brain called the reticular activating system is it trains the brain to pick out this type of person from a crowd. And when we start to talk to them, we start to build this character, build this relationship in our heads of what we can offer and how we can offer it to them, and what that starts to look like. So I'm going to go ahead and rotate back this way a little bit. I keep swinging that way. And when it builds this picture of in our heads, it actually makes it easier in real life to go out and find these people. And part of that, to me, is the law of attraction. The things that we think about create an energy behind it, and those can be, through quantum mechanics, entangled with the world outside of us and kind of drawn in. So in my mind, what we're actually doing every time we play this game, who would I want to work with, is a creative game that influences how you train your brain to recognize the people out in the world that you would actually like to work with. And you can go pretty deep in this. What type of shoes would they buy? What type of clothing? What brand of clothing do they wear? Where do they go for their coffee? Where do they go shopping? There's a lot of the psychographics we can get into next that really, when you detail that, it tells a lot about a person and the choices that they make. And their life is just full of the choices that they make. And the stories that they start to tell themselves about those choices. And we can kind of get into that. That gets into a lot of the psychology behind creating an avatar, behind creating a full character like this. And you don't need to go quite that deep, but you can see as soon as you start just getting a little curious about who that person is and what they do and how they are and how they proceed, you can kind of go pretty deep about their life and just really flesh it out, a full dimensional persona out of this. And then you give it some space. You always want to give it a little bit of space so that character can breathe, so you can get a distance from it, because emptying your brain of all those thoughts A quick way to make a thought that won't go away is to put it on paper and put it somewhere where you will see it again, or put it somewhere where it'll take a little bit for you to see it again. Because as soon as you put it on paper, the brain says, I can release that. So creating this character, you put it all on paper and then give it a little bit of time so you can come back to it with fresh eyes and read through it and say, is this truly the person that I want to work with? And if yes, then fantastic. We can start identifying how that person lives their life, the types of stories that they might tell themselves based on your general ideas of their life. Now, I said earlier, this is a bit wishy-washy, and here's the thing. We are making huge amounts of assumptions here. And in my master's program, I actually had an emotional issue with the word assumptions. They kept telling us, you're going to have to make some assumptions. You have to start somewhere, and then you can go research and counter against it and build hypotheses against your assumptions to figure out the truth. And sometimes if you don't know your niche, if you don't know your customer, if you're just starting out, if you're not sure who you help or what the best way to help somebody is, you end up flailing a little bit, and frankly, business can suffer a lot when you flail like that. Now, if you go to a marketer, they're probably going to say, look, hit this niche, this niche, and this niche. These are the most profitable niches, and you should go ahead and double down in there because you will make bank. And that can be true. It can also not be true. Advertising and marketing and that kind of stuff these days, it's a little bit, like I said, I'm not a marketing guy, but I've talked to too many people who've lost 20 or 30 grand and not made a dent in their business, not moved things forward. Not that I'm saying anything will or won't. Everything's really unique right now, and it's a really interesting world to play in, which is why if you just kind of imagine who it is you would like to work with, who it is you would love to work with, the type of people, the type of services you want to provide them, whether you're just going in to help them alleviate back pain, or help them lose weight, or help them with a new ad campaign or social media campaign, whether you're doing any of these things, you are helping them do something that is either hard for them to do, or it just costs a lot of time, it costs a lot of energy, and so it's easier to find an expert, and that's you. You are the expert that's going to help them on the journey. So I think that's about all I wanted to cover today. It's really just this game, the character builder game, and I always think of it a character game because to me, it's I love writing, I love creating stories. I used to love creating advertising stories, like whole stories that spanned across different ad campaigns. It was a lot of fun for me because I think I was the only one that ever caught it, but it was fun just to create the story and know the story internally. So these characters, I look at them as characters in the life of your brand, characters in the life of your business. And I know several businesses create avatars like this and track on through as the business grows, the avatar changes, gets married, has children, moves into different phases of life, because a lot of these phases are societal. A lot of these phases are communal amongst the human experience. So we can start to play with some of that and get creative, because the more that you embrace the humanity here, the more that you embrace the empathy, embrace the creativity to imagine the people that you want to work with, the greater chance you're going to connect with someone and be really impactful on their life. And that's why we're all here, right? To be impactful, to help others, and to do something that is worthwhile. So I hope you guys enjoy this. If you have questions about branding or brand in general, or I can answer some of the stuff in marketing and advertising, because I have some of that in my past. If you just want to talk about stuff that's going on with you, leave a comment below. Share this with somebody that you think might use this tool. And yeah, if you want these services for yourself, this branding services for yourself, I've got a program. You can just go ahead and put Manifest Design in the comments, and then I will go ahead and connect with you. Otherwise, just play this game. Think it through. Be creative. Create a character that is the person you would want to work with. And then think it through just step by step, asking yourself questions of who would they be and what would their life be like. And enjoy the journey. Take care. Bye-bye.